This morning on the news show, there's only one place to go and one place to talk about. It's Marcus Rashford and the implications of his actions last week in Belfast. Manchester United have made a statement, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Dave Brailsford as well. He's been speaking to the Manchester United playing staff as well and what him and Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe expect from them. And it looks like Pellistri's loan move to Spain is going to get done today. Let's jump straight into it. Right, let's start with Marcus Rashford. And look, as we know, he's been in the firing line the last few days, given his actions last week. Went to Belfast, was seen in a nightclub, calling sick the next day in the lead up to the FA Cup game. And Manchester United have made a statement. It came out late last night in relation to it, about maybe 9 o'clock or so. Marcus Rashford has taken responsibility for his actions. This has been dealt with as an internal disciplinary matter, which is now closed. Rashford trained as normal today and will be available for selection against Wolves on Thursday. Now, it looks like the punishment for Marcus Rashford is 2 weeks fine, which I think is £650,000 sterling fine, which sounds like an awful lot, but when you take into account that it's a 2 week fine, then you know it's certainly I suppose justified. Look, Marcus Rashford is, I don't know what's going on in the background with him. His performances that we see on the pitch are nowhere near up to standard. He's not setting a good example at the moment. I mean, he's one of the senior players in the dressing room now. He's been there, pretty much longer than, well, I think maybe only Anthony Martial has been there longer than him. So he's a senior member in that dressing room. He needs to be setting a better example. I have no problem with players going out and enjoying themselves, having a drink, so on and so forth. But you have to pick your moments, don't you? If Manchester United were absolutely steamrolling teams and, challenging for the top of the table and so on, still in the Champions League, then you would say, okay, brilliant. If this was this time last year, Marcus Rashford was in, the hottest vein of his life and he was seen out on a night out, you'd say, okay, well, he deserves it. He's working hard. But he's not. He's not playing well. He's not putting in consistent performances. His body language is all off. He looks like he's not really interested. And now we're seeing this coming out. So it is going to bring an awful lot of pressure onto you. Eric Ten Hag isn't too happy by all accounts as well. Like he said in his post-match press conference, it's an internal matter and I'm dealing with it. Now if Eric Ten Hag was happy with it and there was no issue, then he wouldn't have even said that. He would have, said, no, there's no problem. We don't need to worry about it, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, Marcus Rashford is he's not in the best place in terms of his career at the moment. And all of this off-field, activity and I mean, there's nothing worse than a footballer going from the back page to the front page. And Marcus Rashford, over the last week, has been slowly but surely making his way towards the front page of these tabloids. And, he needs to get back to work. He needs to put his head down. He needs to train hard. He needs to get some level of consistency back within his game. And more than anything else, he needs to start scoring goals and putting in good performances. Because there's nothing better for a player to, get rid of all of this negativity and actually going out and doing the business on the pitch. And if he does that, then all well and good. A lot of talk over the last few days about whether Manchester United should potentially move him on in the summer. He is one of our prized assets, you would say. And we spoke about it last night on the live, whether Marcus Rashford should go or not. And I said if I could get, if Manchester United get an offer of anywhere between 80 and 100 million for him in the summer, then I would seriously consider it. I would. I think his career has been too inconsistent at Manchester United. I really want him to do well. More than anything else, he's an academy player. He's from the area. You want him to be, the main face of Manchester United. But that's only going to be the case if your performance levels match that. And they haven't done so consistently throughout his career. He had his 30 goal a season last year, but if you're going from 30 goals last year and we're more than halfway through this season, I think he has 5. I mean, that's just not good enough. So if an offer of 100 million came in for him in the summer, I'd probably take it. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, we're talking about Dave Brailsford and obviously Marcus Rashford as well kind of comes into this a little bit because obviously Marcus Rashford, on the back of what we were just speaking about, he did have a meeting with his brother and his agent alongside football director John Murtagh and manager Eric Ten Hag at Carrington yesterday. to try and establish what happened last week and the truth behind it. Now, Dave Brailsford has been speaking with Manchester United playing staff on what's expected from them in terms of, levels of professionalism, consistency, performance, so on and so forth. We spoke about Dave Brailsford before, and he is, I suppose, hyper focused on, the 1%, trying to improve everybody by 1%. Now, look, opposition fans and a lot of Manchester United fans would say that, there's a lot of, I suppose, players within the Manchester United squad that need to improve by more than 1%. But in terms of actual, minor gains and how big of a difference they make. So, look, Dave Brailsford is getting in there. He's getting his hands dirty now. He's talking with the staff. He's talking with the players. He wants these little minute details to improve, because if they do, then obviously you will get improvements on the pitch, and you get improvements all the way through the club. And I think this is where the likes of, Marcus Rashford and these senior players need to really step up and, take responsibility, and say, right, well, look, we're the senior members here. If Dave Brailsford and Jim Radcliffe and Eric Ten Hag want these certain, rules and performance levels implemented, then we'll be the ones to, make sure that the dressing room stays in check and that players are training hard every day, and hold everybody accountable. And I don't think at the moment Manchester United have the kind of squad and the mentality within the squad to actually do that. There are players there that do have it. Lisandro Martinez, for example. I think Bruno Fernandes does have that kind of mentality, where he gives out an awful lot. He expects an awful lot out of players. Maybe Casemiro and Varane, they tend to do it by leading by example more so than, actually, grabbing a lad up by the scruff of the neck like you'd expect maybe Martinez to do. But we need to get more of them into our squad. And I think that's why the next couple of transfer windows are going to be very important to Manchester United. We know that, our recruitment hasn't been good over the past 10 years since Sir Alex Ferguson left. And whatever about quality, getting the right mentality into the squad is vitally important over the next few transfer windows. Because you want players not only that have the right mentality, but have got, I suppose, the broad shoulders to carry the weight of expectation that is expected from a Manchester United player. I think if we can do all of these and they're all small tick box exercises, but if you can get them all done and get them all done correctly, you will see a massive improvement within the Manchester United squad over the coming years. And we need it, because it's going to be a tough slog, and we need to be patient as fans. We said this before, one transfer window is not going to fix everything. We went through our keep and sell last night, and I think I had 14 of the current squad that could potentially leave, that I would potentially look to move on. That's an awful lot. Now, you're not going to get rid of 14 players in one transfer window and bring in 14. It's just, we're not Chelsea. So we're going to have to be patient. 2, 3, 4. You would like to see maybe 4 or 5 signings coming in the summer. I think that would make a huge difference. Now, signings coming in that would be, ready-made starters that could go straight into that team, straight into that dressing room and command a spot in the starting 11. And I think that would give us a great, great foundation to go on then and attack further transfer windows down the line. But it is going to take a couple of years, and we do have to be patient as fans, but all we're looking for is improvement. Now, a little bit of transfer news then. Obviously, we know Pellistri is on the move, and it does look like today is going to be the day that the loan move is ratified. He is expected to travel to Spain today before completing his move from United to Granada on loan until the summer. That's coming out from David Ornstein in The Athletic. And look, I hope he does well. I've said it before, I think he's probably lacking in the minerals to be a first choice starter for Manchester United long term. I do like him, and I think there is potential there. Again, it's hard to keep hold of certain players like this that are young and hungry and ambitious if they're only going to be squad players at Manchester United. But look, I mean, he's got a big opportunity now to go to Spain and make an impact for himself, make a name for himself and put in some good performances. And if he does that, then I'm sure he will be in consideration to come back and join up with the squad next season. And there is a lot of players like, Pellistri that, where we do say they come from the academy, so we want them to be, part of the team. We want them to be good enough just to get into that starting 11 consistently. But we also have to be realistic about it as well. Pellistri is probably going to be on the peripheries of it for, the foreseeable future. Now I do know like the wings, especially that right wing, is an area of concern for Manchester United at the moment. Anthony is not doing anything, basically. We've seen Garnacho go over on that side and do relatively well. We know he prefers playing off of the left. What's going to happen with Marcus Rashford? So I would love nothing more for the likes of Pellistri to go out and do really well on loan and come back and be good enough to really push for one of them starting spots. Because the wing is an area that we're probably going to have to invest in the coming... I mean, I would love to invest in the summer. I think I would move Anthony on. Again, we already mentioned Marcus Rashford. So it is an area that if you do move on a couple of players, you're going to have to reinvest in. And it would be nothing nicer than for an academy player to come in and take one of them spots and really, really, nail it down. You'd have Garnacho on one side and Pellistri on the other side with Rasmus Højlund through the middle. I mean, it really would be brilliant. Is he going to be that type of player? That remains to be seen. I am sceptical at the moment. I would love if it was him. But if it's not, like I said before, we have to kind of move on from the sentimentality aspect of players playing for Manchester United and look to, just getting players that are good enough to play for the club more than anything else. But let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. Do you think Pellistri should stay beyond the summer? Do you think, he's good enough for it? Let me know in the comment section below. We will be back tonight from 8 o'clock for our transfer talk show. We'll go into all of these topics in depth. And as well, as you know, we do have the watch-along coming up on Thursday as well for the Premier League game against Wolves. And we are doing another match build-up video as well. So if you want to get involved in the match build-up video and be on it with us, send me your 60-second clips of your match preview to by email to unitedcommunitychannel@outlook.com. 60 seconds, give me your match preview, starting 11, score predictions, so on and so forth. Send them to me, I'll put them all together and we upload it then as our match build-up video an hour or two before the game. But please smash a like on the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe on your way out as well if you're new. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers and with your help we can get there as well. So please help us out with that. But until tonight, have a good day.